Friends, recently I did a post on social media on the criticality of moon for other planets to give results. Other planets as in Saturn, Mars, Jupiter, whatever, And it turns out that we still are not very clear on what constitutes a strong moon and or a benefic moon in the horoscope. That we'll do today. How to see the strength of moon in the chart and how to see which moon is likely to be more benefic. All right. So there are two things: strength and the benefic qualities of the moon. And the specific post that I just spoke about in the social media, Facebook, that is I quoted part of a shloka in Faldipika that praises moon to have the seeds for delivering the goods for all the other planets. So no matter how strong your other planets are, for you to enjoy the fruits of that good and or strong planet in the chart, your moon should be capable of delivering the results to you for us to enjoy the fruits of that planet. That critical is moon, and that's why in Indian astrology, moon's criticality is kind of, everyone accepts it. I mean, people can debate on the extent to which it's important, but no one can ever deny that it's a special planet. Its position is very, very important. Okay, now I am not comparing that with sun. Sun operates at a causal level and moon at a more in a deliverable and fructification level, if you like, right? So I'm not getting into that philosophical debate today. So let's jump on to the specifics of how to see the strength of moon in the chart, right? So for that, the most important planet that we have to see for moon is sun. So let's say sun is here in the third house. Let's say, okay, let's say sun is in the third house. So major classics, they use a word called Chheen Chandra. Chheen Chandra means depleted moon is not good. That's all, they write. I mean, that's the what do you call, common minimum denominator across most of the major classics, which say that a Chheen moon, Chheen Chandra, is not good. And somewhere it uses Purna Chandra, somewhere it just outright uses a vague word called Shubha Chandra, is good for for enjoying all the results. So what does this mean? Now, how do I see this in a chart, right? That's the thing. There are two ways of looking at it, and there are two theories that experts use, and we'll see how to reconcile those two different theories. One theory outright says that the moon in Shukla Paksha, that is waxing moon, the moon in the brighter half of the month, that means, if sun is here, from here till this, I mean, the new moon, the full moon, that is Purnima, okay, that will be somewhere when moon is among those 2 days here. So when moon is in these houses from sun, it is in the bright half, and when it crosses this in the darker half of the moon, the Krishna Paksha, the waning moon, so in this corridor, moon will be in the darker half. So the first theory says that when moon is in Krishna Shukla Paksha, means in the waxing moon, it is strong and thereby it is benefic. That's the interpretation. Otherwise, when it is in this corridor, in the waning half of the month, that is dark moon, darkening moon, if you like, the Krishna Paksha, that is weak, or that is not exactly malefic, though some people do call it malefic, but yes, less benefic, right? Or kind of not good enough to give good results, right? That's the first theory. In Shukla Paksha, all good. Krishna Paksha, all bad, almost all bad, right? All is very dangerous word in astrology. Second theory says, which is kind of more practical, more pragmatic, to which I buy into, is if moon is away from sun, it's strong, and if moon is near sun, it's weak. Now we are not talking about the houses and signs here, okay? We are just talking about its relative distance from sun, all right? Varamir has also said this in different words, right? If moon is in the darker half of the zodiac, means if this is ascendant, this is brighter, this is the darker, right? So there are various theories on on the placement of moon, but the most important two theories are what I just mentioned, okay, that if it is in Krishna Paksh, it is strong and good, in Shukla Paksh, weak and not good. But the second theory, which I was just in the middle of explaining, was if moon is away from sun, it is strong, and if it is near the sun, it's weak. So you can say 4 houses from moon either side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So in this corridor, so in this particular example, from 12th house to 6th house, you can say that it is weak and thereby incapable of delivering the benefic results. All right, moon is a natural benefic, but its capability is crippled with its weakness, which is the case for all the planets, right? So we are studying moon today. So in this corridor, otherwise it is going to be strong. So if moon is in these houses away from sun, it is strong. So you can see that now this gets divided, this gets scrambled up between the bright versus dark half of the month, between Krishna Paksh and Shukla Paksh. So they kind of divide the whole thing. And in reality, when you see the horoscopes, you will find this more practical approach, that moon, if it is roughly about 90 degrees, within 90-degree range from sun, this is the definition of Bhattotpal, really, all right? The commentator, the famous commentator on Brihat Jataka. There are many famous commentators, and Bhattotpal seem to have got most attention, okay, for whatever reasons. So Bhattotpal's explanation is that from sun, I mean 90-degree either side, it is weak, and in the 90-degree opposite side is strong. So he kind of quantifies this, okay. A lot of famous people in recent times, famous and respected astrologers in last 100 years, the most prominent among them is Sri Jagannath Bhasinji. He also was a strong advocate of this theory, where he has quantified, if I remember correctly, 72 degrees, 72. So a moon within 72 degrees range of sun is kind of weak and kind of not that benefic to give good results as compared to when it is farther from 72 degrees either side, means from this side as well as that. So the concept of bright versus dark moon is like Krishna Paksh versus Shukla Paksh is kind of being overwhelmed here. We are not looking at that really here, all right? So this is the one I advocate, I use in my analysis, that if moon is away from sun, it is strong, all right? And this is the most important factor for moon strength. Moon is different from other planets, friends, please understand this, all right? Houses and signs count after this factor. This is the most defining thing about moon, right? I mean, the houses, of course, this house in this example, it's 8th house. So obviously if moon is in this house or in this house, is going to be much stronger than if it is in this house, because in the natural zodiac, in Scorpio, which is the 8th in the number, the 8th sign, moon is in debilitation, right? So in 8th house also that would show its effect. Moon in 8th is not good. Any planet in 8th is not good, more so moon, because in natural zodiac, Scorpio, the 8th sign, is its sign of debilitation. However, there are ifs and buts. I am not getting into much details on that point here, because I just named Scorpio. Moon in the first pada of the last pada of Vishakha and first Navamsha of Scorpio is not so bad, because it goes to Navamsha of Cancer, which is its own Navamsha. So the motivation factor is likely to be high, right? So I'm not touching those things because a sign is 30 degree. So I'm not deviating much here. All right. So you have to see which Navamsha, which Trayamshamsha and so on, right? So I'm not getting into that detail here because we can't make blanket statements. We are studying the overall capability of moon to deliver good results because all the planets need moon to deliver it to us. All the good things may be happening around me, right, in my life as per the chart, but they will get delivered to me only if moon is in a position to receive it for me. All right, that's why in Phaldipika it has categorically mentioned that the fruits, the seeds of good results given by all the planets depend a lot on moon's position, dignity, strength in the chart. All right, so of all this confusion, Jatak Parijat gives a very good definition of how to use moon practically. It says very clearly, it says that in the first 10 Tithis is what? The 30 lunar, 30 days of a lunar month, solely lunar month to be precise, right? 15 days in dark half and 15 days in the bright half. That's a Vedic month, if you like. Exactly 30 days we have in Vedic month. So when moon is when the month starts, after the new moon, the new month starts, all right? So when the moon is in the first 10 days, it is average strong and thereby average capable of delivering the good results. Average. Second Dashaka it calls it, all right? Dashaka means, kind of unit of tens, all right? So next 10 days, that means from 11th to 20th day of the month, it is strongest and thereby capable of delivering the most goods. Strongest. And the third Dashaka means, in the third 10th, means from 21st day of the month to 30th day of the month till the new moon, that is Amavasya. It is the weakest and thereby most crippled to deliver the good results. Now we need to make comparisons here. Obviously all 10 days in each of these categories will not be the same. This is Jatak Parijat's definition, all right, which is very clear and gives a very good handle for us to work. And it is pretty much, okay, it's talking about the same thing that we just saw, the second theory, which I recommended, right, which is really a very practical approach. Now within this first 10 days, which is supposed to be the medium one, the average, all right, the Dvitiya Dashak, that's the phrase in Jatak Parijat. Sorry, it calls it Madhya Shubha, all right, means average benefic, the first 10 days of the month. Now all the 10 days won't be the same, because on the first day means the Prathama Tithi, the Pratipad Tithi, right, the first day, right after the new moon, when the moon is still hardly visible in the sky, that day it is supposed to be much more potent for good results compared to the 14th day of the dark moon, means that also it is hardly visible in the sky, just the day before new moon. So just a day before Amavasya and just the day after Amavasya. We are comparing the two here, the two apples, if you like, all right. The moon is hardly visible. So the one in the day after the Amavasya, that is new moon, that is better than the moon which is a day before Amavasya, means the Krishna Chaturdashi. All right. Now what is the difference, friends? Difference is that when it is gone past the Amavasya, the new moon, the new month has started, it is growing moon. So growing moon is much better than the reducing moon. So this is how we reconcile it. So first parameter is how far is it away. Okay, that's the first thing. The second layer is within the days when it is at a equal distance. Let's say from sun it is here and here. Which is better? Here, because we are moving like this. So this is growing moon, this is reducing moon. When moon is here, it is reducing. When moon is here, it is growing. So moon here versus moon here, which is better? This is better. Assuming the same tithis, because there are more than 2 tithis here. So this is not good, this is good. I mean comparatively, right? Now this is even better. All right. Now if I take, from here, if moon is here, means 11 signs away from sun, or moon is here 3 signs away from sun. All right, this is better than this because it is moving away from sun. All right, growing moon, and this is coming towards sun, reducing moon. So this you need to keep in mind. All right. So to be clear, from the those who understand the Vedic tithis, from the Shukla Dashami onwards till Krishna Panchami, means the 20th day, okay, moon is strongest. Of these, the first 5 days, means from the 11th to 15th, is the best comparatively as compared to 16th to 20th, because in 16th to 20th day it has gone past the 15th day, which is the full moon, the Purnima. It is reducing, right? So within that 10 days of bracket, you will take the moon which is growing as better than the one then reducing in the second half, which is the best, considered the best, right? The second 10th division, means 11th to 20th day. The first 5 days are better than the second 5 days. How about in the first 10 days? Okay, in the bright moon, the first 5 days obviously are not as strong as second 5 days, because from 5th to 10th day, obviously the moon is much farther away from sun as compared to the first 5 days. So these both are to be reconciled in this fashion, and Jatak Parijat gives a very good handle to see how good moon is in the chart. Now, of course, the houses and rashis will matter, right? The nakshatra, the navamsha will matter, but this is the defining factor. This is the top level approach. This is the deal breaker or the deal maker. Okay, so this is how you look at the moon strength. The purpose of this video was triggered by couple of comments that I got in one of the group posts on this subject, when I just shared the shloka that defined the importance of moon for the entire deliverability of good results even by other planets, right? So I hope that this gave you some clarity on the strength of moon and how to have a proper handle and to reconcile the different divergent opinions by the experts. So this is how I approach moon strength in the chart, and I'm sure you got very good perspective today. I'd love to hear your comments. Thank you.